Mel's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report alongside Seth Merrow. I'm Anthony Mormino on another beautiful morning.
Oh, absolutely. This is a gorgeous morning. Yesterday, a very nice day. Still a little humidity, a touch, but not like last week. And
you just want it all. Yes, all.
Yeah, I hope for the.
There's
the
usually
weather,
what,
but today is.
We should almost mark it down. Like how many? What would be the categories? Obviously, low humidity, sun,
comfortable
breeze,
temps.
Slight breeze.
Slight breeze is nice too. I don't need the breeze, but if the temperatures are okay,
if you get the low humidity.
But I think we're in the ballpark of hitting all
right
that today.
Now. Well, I've said this many times before, Seth, that weird way, 10 a.m. would be a perfect post time.
Oh.
It wouldn't work except for the weather angle because I've had the 9 o'clock slot for many years. You have had the 9 and the 10, and I've done some 10s with you. Sometimes at the backside of the 10s, the heat has arrived, but there's only about usually 2 or 3 shows a year where the 9 o'clock one is like, oh, baby, it's gotta be toasty today.
Yeah.
But usually at 9 o'clock, it's spectacular, which has always helped breakfast out. We see people walking around with their coffee headed over the backstretch. I mean, it really is beautiful in the morning. I could, when I was, in my 20s, half a lifetime ago, I could do the breakfast, whole day racing and go out. I can't do that. I tell Denise, pick 2. Whichever 2 you want, pick 2. So tomorrow, I understand it's racing and going out.
That's a good
so
too. That's a good too.
That's,
breakfast is a lot of fun though. If nobody's
absolutely.
ever done it, maybe I'll pull up and put in the 10 o'clock show the breakfast story we did 2 or 3 years ago, just to remind people of it. Because if you go over to breakfast, it's a nice buffet breakfast.
Tremendous.
Or one of the nice things too, you can come in and stop on your way and get a couple of donuts yourself and just go sit in the grandstand and watch them work out.
They still let you sit in the boxes, right?
Yeah, you can sit in the
Yeah,
you're exactly right. You can go grab one of the boxes, but downstairs they have a nice breakfast. But then if you'd like, hop on the tram. They give you a tour of the backstretch and give you a tour of the starting gate. You watch some horses come out of the gate. It's a lot of fun. It's worth it. And they also have now the breakfast, and you can hop on a van or bus or whatever, and they drive around to a couple of the farms in the area. I think that's like a once a week thing.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what they used to have that I don't know that they have now, but they should have it because it would be easier. And you'll know from a production standpoint. Years ago, you could come have breakfast, and you had to leave the track. The track basically, you had to leave the track for, I want to say, this was post time 1:30. So I think you had to leave the track by 10 or 10:30, and the gates opened at, I think, 11:30, 2 hours before post time. So you had to leave for an hour. And the National Racing Museum had a film on like a Hall of Fame horse. And when you got the program, like let's say you came up Wednesday, about the 5th race at the bottom would say, tomorrow morning at the Racing Museum will be Dr. Fager. Well, that was just tremendous for a guy like me. You'd go over, and my thought has always been, nowadays they should be spectacular and easy to produce with digital.
Yeah, and now they have that crazy 360-degrry display over in the museum.
And I've always thought that they should run it right back at 10 a.m. each day for 40 days. It's easy to come up with 40 spectacular horses. It's easy to come up with 80. Get a great narrator. Put it together. People could kind of meander over see the Hall of Fame.
I like it. But also, again, for folks, if you're not familiar,
I'll take a nickel a person.
It's probably deservedly so. Little breakfast, and Yeah, the museum is right across the street if you've never visited there as well. I'll have Brian Bouye from the museum on tomorrow.
All right.
We're going to kind of go over the summer schedule, but the museum's great as well. It's right, literally right across the street. So,
and what they used to do is, this is what I think I have this exactly right. You paid $5 to park. You could park right in the area that the press parking is. And if you left, you gave them back the thing. They gave you $5 back. Yeah. The other people were like, "Oh no, this is the best deal in town. I'll be here all day. I'll go find something to do, but I'm all set." But we kicked off week 2 yesterday. We thought it'd be a good day for Bill Morey. We got it right. Yeah, not good for you.
It was one of his was the one that I said yesterday morning, Golden Dagger, who I said I wanted to put on. You, as you said, you put it on top. I had in the second spot, price. And I said I really debated about it, and I said I was really going to kick myself if the horse won at the 8-1 morning line price. Well, it wasn't quite that, but it was still enough that there are a handful of races during the meet you want it back, and I like that one back. It's just I kind of had the feeling
that was
and originally I was using it on, then I went back and forth. But yeah, good day for Bill Moore.
The other one worked out the same way that I had mentioned, where I didn't think that the favorite at Rock the Weekend and there wasn't. The competition level was far closer, in my opinion, than the price was. Now they Golden Dagger, was never $18 or etc. But a good day, I don't play the pick 3, but we had a cold $175 pick 3, which I think is a good price, for a pick 3. And none of them were bombs. It was $11, $6, and $10, not odds, dollars. Now the thing that, and this is my argument with Brian Nadeau, is it was 9-2, 2-1, and 4-1, but I beat 3 favorites.
Yeah.
I don't,
which makes a huge difference.
I think that's accurate. I think even the $6 horse who wasn't the favorite, who was the Randy Broussard, who was 8-1 with the entry on the morning line, you had the significant scratches, and the people got it right at $2. But good day yesterday.
Don't be late. Lives up to the name too. In the middle of your pick 3 sequence, there just got up in the shadow of the wire. And Belfast Panther wins the grade 1 over the jumps at $35.
And Lisa's vision was I said that there was
looked good.
Yeah.
Although that was
stretched out and got it done, and Jess got it done. We're not going to show because we have so much to do, but I will say this for the folks out there, and we love Tommy Amos, and I'm sure you're going to try and get him on. He had a winner yesterday, and he did a good job, 63 caliber. But kudos, in my opinion, to Tyler Gaffleone, who this horse looked like, and if you listen to Frank Miramonte's call, he uses a verb that most veteran race watchers know is probably not positive. But the job that Tyler Gaffleone and the horse did, 63 caliber, that was race 8. And I don't usually give kudos to favorites winning, but you got to watch the race. You got to watch the young man's job. So 2 thumbs up to Tyler Gaffleone, who probably was exhausted after the ride he put on that winner. I'll give you an example of another time. This was one of the few times I was way ahead of the curve. Ghost Zapper was a short price in an allowance race up here. And he was all out to beat Clockstopper, who I think was one of the last Overbrook horses to run. And I turned to a friend of mine. And Ghost Zapper was 3-5. It was an allowance race before he became Ghost Zapper. And I turned to a friend of mine and said, that was tremendous. He looked at me and goes, 3-5. I go, no, that was tremendous. Put any context you want on it. And then he ran 3rd in the King's Bishop and then never lost again. But take a look at the 8th race yesterday, 63 caliber. 2 thumbs up to Tyler Gaffleone, who helped out.
I will toss out, I mentioned breakfast and whatnot. One of the other things you want to try up here, low rollers. And low rollers, don't forget, up here Thursdays and Sundays. I jumped in last Sunday for the first time this season, just kind of whiffed.
Because you think you're supposed to win all the time.
To the point I didn't even play.
Supposed to win once a meet.
I didn't even play the last couple of races. I still had money left on my card. I knew I was chasing at that point. But again, it's over by the 4-star Dave Bar is their entry point. You put $40 in, you get a $30 card. $10 goes into the prize pool. You make 5 $2 win, place, and show bets on horses during the afternoon. You keep all the money that you make on your card, but if you're up, move up the leaderboard, you can get some prize money as well. And it's a lot of fun. Again, I will tout contests are fun if you haven't tried them. You think a little bit differently. Capital OTB, we have the tourney bets contests on the weekends that are a lot of fun as well, but the low rollers up here. Also, Clubhouse Racebook today, prize wheel on Thursdays down at the Racebook. Really throughout the meet, we have things going on every day, but on Thursdays, stop on by 711 Central Avenue in Albany. Folks are randomly selected throughout the afternoon to spin the prize wheel. And I will also tout, if you are in the East Durham area, you can stop by the 5 Furlongs Tavern on Fridays and Saturdays to take advantage of the Betmobile. Betmobile will be at the 5 Furlongs Tavern in East Durham throughout the meet, so you can bet some Saratoga. I believe it's on its way to becoming an easy bet location. But in the meantime, Betmobile there on Fridays and Saturdays. It's on New York 145 in East Durham, 5 Furlongs Tavern. So keep that in mind as well.
Betmobile took my parking spot a couple times.
Well, you got to forgive the
Betmobile. It probably actually has priority. I was actually probably taking the Betmobile's parking spot for a couple times. We ready for the DePaula play of the day, you think?
I think that's the game plan.
I'm guessing if it's a rotation. By the way, extraordinarily sharp tie, Mr. Merrow.
Oh, today. And I wanted to mention that. Thank you.
That is excellent work.
If you weren't watching the show yesterday, I had
our friends on?
Marianne and Maddie from Dark Horse and Impressions of Saratoga. And at the end of the segment, they said, we have a little something for you. And it was all wrapped up. I said, I should, when I picked it up, I said, I'm guessing I should unwrap it on it. And
yes,
there it was. Bang. From, I believe from Dark Horse.
Usually in polite society, you're right. You just take it at another time. But I think you're supposed to.
And they verified. They verified that.
It's great.
No, I agree. And I said, I'm wearing it tomorrow. And so here it is from Dark Horse and Impressions. It's a sharp tie. And I said, I like yellow ties, and I have 3 or 4 of them in my rotation.
Good on television with blue shirts.
Yeah, exactly. But I have 3 or 4 of them, but a couple of them have kind of moved out of the rotation. So this is now jumped.
Can't imagine why.
This is now jumped into it.
It's great. It's beautiful. So that's very nice. All right, let's. I'm guessing it's Kevin today, but we'll all find out simultaneously.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week's Chevy Silverado is just $549 a month with zero due at inception. Yes, zero down.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hey, everybody. Steve Bick with you, coming from the Jersey Shore ahead of Haskell on Saturday. Right now, though, the DePaula play of the day for Thursday, July 20th. New York Breds long on the turf, came close on Wednesday, got a good run in, came a little bit too late. But let's talk about a Horacio De Paz entrant in the New York Stallion Series finale on Thursday. The 8-horse, 26 Black, the race 2 back will win this and will win it clear. And 26 Black is not the favorite. Ramblin' Wreck, the 7 for Danny Gargan is to me, not a bad favorite, but certainly a vulnerable favorite at 7-5. So let's go to the second choice as the DePaula play of the day. It's 26 Black with Manny Franco, and he looks to me like the horse actually to beat as second choice. The DePaula play of the day. Good luck. Talk to you on Sunday.
When you think trucks, think DePaula.
The all-new 2024 Chevy Trax is here. Bigger, roomier, seats 5, and lots of technology. And just $419 a month, zero down.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, that was Steve Bick. And as I've learned, it's basically Steve Wednesday, Thursday, live on Sunday, and Kevin on Friday, Saturday. We'll see if the memory can keep that going now that I'm in my 60s, but I think I can handle that. Ready to give it a go on our second Thursday of the meet, and it's still, you get older, but, I was thinking the other day about the juveniles running 5.5 furlongs because, just used to Saratoga. That was when they finally run 3/4. But I was like, well, on the calendar, we're not there yet. We'd still be at Belmont. They'd be running 5.5, and the Astoria and the Tremont would be coming up. So these plethora of 5.5 furlongs for the juveniles makes sense.
Yeah.
The calendar didn't change. The location changed.
And I didn't ask. You said you and your wife, with the game plan, come up to the track and then out. You have a dinner plan yet? You have someplace you like up here, or you head back?
I don't think you can make dinner plans the day of, can you? You usually get shut out, wouldn't you? Like, we're going to dinner with our friends I can't call up 15 church tonight for our 8 o'clock reservation.
No, but you could have made the plans already. I said, do you have plans?
Yeah. I'm a planner. Yeah.
Okay.
Getting to the front desk and the guy going, "Not tonight, buddy." The stink guy my wife would send me would be so awful.
No, my question wasn't necessarily do you have plans. It's more what are the plans? Because I was wondering, are you up here or do you go back and do you have a favorite place up here?
I have a couple. It's not an easy day for me because I'm going to go home after the show, and then she's going to work half a day. Then we're going to come up and pick up the races. Hopefully, I'll be back on track. I'm hoping by 2:30, watch the races, go out for the drink to the place closest to us, and then our friends, they got the easy day. They'll come up like 6:30 and meet us at the restaurant and go out. But no, it's a very nice
easy day. It's not the fun day.
No, it's the fun day. It's not easy. I mean, I'm going to drive up and back, twice, but the day will be great. I mean,
no, I was comparing. You said they have the easy day, but they don't have the fun day.
No, they do not. No, they don't. I have. If I could get a driver, this would be great. But
I'm sure you could if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's always the way it works. You pay it, I forget it. The opener today, Open Company, 3-year-olds and up, fillies and mares, maiden special weights, right outside our front window, going 7/8.
I have it 4, 6, 1, and 5. I'm going to go Sister Maha on top. It's a Todd Pletcher firster by American Pharoah. There was nothing in here that really jumped off the page at me. There were a couple of winning siblings, but one of those took 4 starts to win. One took 6 starts. So they're not necessarily win early, but it is Todd Pletcher, a little bit of breeding. The bullet workout on Independence Day kind of stood out to me, and there's a couple other bullets underneath. So I'll look for this one to be well met in debut. But I'm just throwing a little bit of a dart perhaps in a race where the two I have right underneath with experience are probably the ones to beat. Little Prankster comes in off 3 starts down in Kentucky. 3 second-place finishes. That scared me away a little bit because I've said it many times. When they get stuck, when you start to see 3 straight of those bridesmaids positions, you get a little bit concerned. But on the numbers fits, and then on the rail, stunningly for Steve Asmussen. Maybe last time indicated that the light bulb turned on because certainly it was an improved performance. And if that is the fact, I think stunningly will run well this afternoon. 4, 6, 1, and 5.
The thing that bothered me about Little Prankster's seconds are 3 times beaten favorite, including Todd. That's the stumbling block because he's thought well of, and he's going to be in the mix. I'll tell you one thing. I think, Seth, I think I made a mistake because I think your 4 is a major player in here, and he's not even on my list. I mean, I like my selections. My point being, I think this race is deeper than I thought. We have Bill Mott with a, competitive. So the part I do like for myself is my top pick is 8-1 on the morning line in a race that I see as being almost, I guess if Dark Princess won, I'd be very surprised.
What's mine on the morning? I printed before the morning line. The 4.
7-2. Okay. I mean, it's not like, but Feathering, the first-time starter for Bill Mott, is the morning line favorite. Now, only 3-1. You have Sister Maha and Little Prankster at 7-2. So, and then stunningly, it's 4-1. So right there, you have 4 horses within a point, and that goes to my idea with Klarovich and an offspring of Classic Empire for Chad Brown, sends out the number 5, Flavia Prada. I mean, it's guessing, but it's my hallmark. I got 4 horses between 3 and 4-1. I have the 8-1 shot. That's me. Stunningly woke up the last time at double-digit odds going the mile. And for third, Little Prankster, who has blinkers today after 3 defeats, 2 of them at odds on 5-1-4, and I think a very contentious opener.
Race number 2 this afternoon. We are looking at one of those auction restricted price maiden specials, going 5.5.
One of the best ideas to come down the pike in a very long time, in my opinion, for conditions. 837 group ticket is my top pick. Ken Sweezy of South Florida, trainer with good success, has run this horse twice at Monmouth Park. This horse is going to have to truly jump up, but I'm on the outside. I like the debut. The regression, comment reads awkward break. I like the way the horse debuted. It was that old competitive, show some early speed, run worse, run worse. Now, we have to, to use it as a point of reference, I find it hard to believe that anywhere near a 44 buyer speed figure will get it done here. So I need a big leap, jump forward. Irad Ortiz took the mount, which I found intriguing on a horse with back-to-back 44 buyer speed figures at Monmouth coming to Saratoga. 2 things, even with Irad, and I won't say this very often during the meet, I don't think so. I think we'll get a better price in the morning line. For second, number 3, Astronomico going out for the 3rd career start at Ellis, a marked improvement in the second one. And for third, the scratch of the entry, and I said it the other day, this was certainly, in my opinion, the much stronger part of the entry with Cadula is Antonio Venice, who adds blinkers. And at 8-5, the race goes through him. I mean, he's almost, 20 points higher on buyer speed figures in the debut. Matter of fact, he's 25 points higher than anything I've ever run. So obviously, I need a lot of help here.
I went 6, 7, 1, and 5. The
JC Avila.
Yeah, trainer's pretty good with first-time starters. They elect to, come up from Monmouth to take a shot at this, again, auction price restricted stakes. They sold for 50 down at Ocala in March. And again, steady string of workouts that look to be pretty good. Maybe a little bit of interesting breeding there as well. Dam has a foal that was 1 for 2. So I thought there was a little bit there to maybe land on in a field that, if you can get past Antonio Venice and, with a 59 and a 69 buyer, not knocking out of the park, but of those that have run so far, that stands out. So I put that one right underneath. Yeah, and then in the third spot, I used Walstib, the number 1 horse from Ken McPeak. Again, I thought there was a little bit of breeding here. Like the top pick, a steady string of workouts that look pretty good. Ken McPeak can have them ready. And as I say, a little bit of breeding top and bottom that intrigues as well. It's a little bit of a puzzle of a race, but I went 6, 7, 1, and 5.
And I know that Ken McPeak's stacks of first-time starters aren't, he's 6% with over 100 starters. But I think the tote board is going to tell us a lot. And this horse scares me, and if he wakes up bet, some people got the phone call. Yeah. Some people got the phone call because he looks like the most best to take advantage of the restricted conditions. Like, Ken has a good runner in here. Because he only paid $27,500, he can $27,000. He can avoid what might be out there, and I think he might be in very good shape from the rail there with Flavio.
Get the first.
I'm glad you have him in the mix. That's probably 2 swings and a miss for me in the first 2 races. The Todd Pletcher runner and the Ken McPeak runner for firsters worry me already.
Yeah, and got the first from Gary Contess, had him on yesterday by Mucho Macho Man. Speaking of, have Dean Reeves coming on at 10 o'clock. So he had the nice firster yesterday, Queen's Martini.
Well, I always like when the horseshoes simulate like the Offspring and Mucho Macho Man running in the same silks. Silks. I like that. It makes it easy. And then you're right. That was a good job. $15. Yeah. That little horse was. It was 4-1 in the morning.
I went down to the winner's circle and said, "Come on over tomorrow."
Nice.
Yeah.
And he's always very
he's great.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah. He's in the great category.
Yeah.
On to the third starter allowance, 5.5 on the turf.
5, 8, 6, and 7. I'm going to put Highly Flammable on top. Mark Cassie trainee by Munning. So again, a little bit of breeding and lived up to it. Winning starts 3 and 4. So 1 early. And just this tossing numbers that I think for the most part, have a little bit of an edge on this bunch over the last few starts. Destin's Mission, the last couple of numbers stack up with Highly Flammable, and they're since that one moved to the turf. So Destin's Mission took a few starts, but they finally figured out, okay, get over to the grass, and that's where we're going to perform. And he's kind of lived up to that now. So these two, to me, have a little bit of an edge on most of the bunch. Sandrone, the number 6 horse, on a best effort belongs, and also has some early speed and may try to steal it. If they come out of the gate about a furlong in, Sandrone's about a length in front. It will be very leery of having left that one down in the 3rd spot, because I think the speed could be potent. But my top duo, particularly Destin's Mission, also have a little positional speed. So we'll see how that all works out. But for me in the 3rd, 5, 8, 6, and 7.
9 and 10 MTOs in here, folks. And I agree on the top pick here. I think Highly Flammable is going to sit a very good trip in here to let others do the head knocking up front. And with Javier Castellano, who has turned back the clock to 2011, it seems. I think the Austrian of Monies is in great shape. For second, Sugar Gray Leonard going out for Richard Dutrow Jr., who's having a very nice meet to date. Irad takes him out. This will be the 4th start of the year. Has run continuously well enough. Gets 5.5 today. Got 5.5 last year on Labor Day weekend. Was runner-up. For 3rd, War Terminator. Big price in here for Gary Contessa. 5, 7, and 4.
All right, I'll toss out my dark horse play of the day here as we go into the break. It's going to be race number 6 this afternoon. Again, our friends at Dark Horse, the Dark Horse Mercantile and Impressions of Saratoga. We had Marianne and Maddie on yesterday. And again, thank you to them for the tie from Dark Horse. I'm going to go with Naomi Beach, if I'm close to pronouncing that correctly, by Omaha Beach. Omaha Beach so far, 9 first-time starters, 4 winners in a second. So solid.
One of those at Saratoga with yours truly.
Yeah, solid start to the career so far. This one sold at a 2-year-old sale and worked 10.0 before that sale. The Dam has produced a winner from other foals. So I thought there was a little win early top and bottom. Asmussen can have them ready. But mostly it's Omaha Beach and just being off to the good start. If that continues in here. And again, it's one of those races where I just didn't see anything else that was absolutely jumping off the page. So there was enough here of, like I tend to say, the old nature and nurture, a little on the breeding side, a little on the training side for a win early. And I'm going to take a shot at the 5-1 morning price with the dark horse play today. We got to get going here with this dark horse.
Relax.
Top of the stretch, one of them was just not, but the top of the stretch with 4 of them, I thought, oh, I'm right. It just couldn't finish it. So we'll see if we can get this one through today. Race number 6, horse number 8, dark horse play of the day, Naomi Beach. And again, thanks to the folks at the Dark Horse Mercantile and Impressions of Saratoga.
As I always like to say, generally speaking, that's why they don't pay even money across there. You don't have to bat 50-50. By the way, it was on Friday, the opener, Pirate, the first-time starter for Todd Pletcher, I think, paid $270. He was the firster for Omaha Beach that has already scored at the racetrack. We'll be right back.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
For 4 generations and looking forward to a 5th, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued their 99-year tradition of delighting their faithful following with the finest authentic Italian recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Some things have changed in the last 99 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, Scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now. Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on this Thursday morning. Seth, Merrow, and Anthony Mormino live from Saratoga on a gorgeous morning. Let's jump back in. Fourth race on Thursday afternoon. 32,000 plain vanilla claimers. They will leave the 1 mile chute.
6 of the 9 flat races yesterday at a mile. So we'll see. Popular distance early. 4-year-old. I'm 6'3", here, and Greatest Love, who is a gigantic price in here, and this is just a flyer. This horse has been enormously popular. Years ago, well, it used to be 10 racing lines in the form, then they went to 12 about 30 years ago. 8 times Greatest Love has been claimed on the sheet in front of me, and Nightpole Chatterpole most recently dipping in, taking from Linda Rice. Has good speed on the outside. It's a this is probably one of the few things that I think I coined the phrase that I love, is the Mount Everest angle. There's one peak in here that I have to get past. I like 15-1 shots in that area far more than, say, the race earlier on the card where we have 4 horses between 3-1 and 4-1. I'd rather scale Mount Everest, to be honest with you. I mean, heck, you take the Sanford, the horse just missed a little bit of the gate and you already slayed the Mount Everest. Now you got to hope you come out. So I'm taking a flyer here, the old Mount Everest to beat Angle. I do have Pretty Extreme for a second for Brad Cox. And the thing that I said last year, Seth, and it helped me out enormously, and I've heard some discussion, is these drop downs and low prices, I'm not bothering. I'm like, just take them. I'm like, whether they have 3.5 legs, I don't care. I'm just taking them, and that's where I'm going. Mariah's Fortune is my next third pick. Won an off-the-turf mile race last year up here. So taking a flyer here, 6-3-1.
We had that drop down yesterday from Todd Fletcher, who ended up winning the second race, Memphis.
Yeah,
really had to work for the win, but I was interested, and I went down to the winner's circle to see it. Sure enough, there was the tag. Somebody picked him up after the race, so we'll see how he does going forward.
And both parties were probably grateful.
Exactly. 3, 4, 2, and 6, Pretty Extreme on top, but I don't think she's invincible by any means. Comes in from Oaklawn, and I've said it, going back 3 or 4 years ago, I used to like the Oaklawn runners when the meet ended and they moved on to other venues. The last year or so, it hasn't been quite as potent, and this one has been off since April, and comes back for a little bit of a reduced rate. So there are question marks, but I do think if this one comes back ready to run for Brad Cox, probably does have an edge, but a slight edge. Good penny in the second spot. Claim 2 back, the Ron Maquette trainee since then, threw in a little bit of a clunker, but you go down the page, certainly fits. But I probably have as many question marks there as I had on Pretty Extreme. But same scenario. If this one comes back and tosses a better effort, fits in very nicely here. And with this Vow, Rick Dutrow trainee, a good second last time, sprinting on the turf, now gets back to the dirt. I kind of like the turf to dirt move to be maybe a little bit of a wake up for this one in here, because the last dirt race wasn't particularly good, but we'll see if this one moves forward a little bit off of that turf try last time. In the fourth, 3, 4, 2, and 6.
I'm hoping the Oaklawn meet extends to Memorial Day weekend. See, their schedule came out.
I saw they
1.5 million for the Arkansas up. Derby.
Oh, we should also mention the news yesterday, which I get it, but the Breeders' Cup will not be the final race on the of the Breeders' Cup races.
Now, I'm a person who holds the Breeders' Cup in the light that most people in America hold the Kentucky Derby. I do not, but the Breeders' Cup is mine. Now, I will say this. My friend from Las Vegas texted me right away when it came out. I will say this. I am for it. For the people on the track, this is tremendous that there will be 2 walkout races. And they will walk out, even though it's the Breeders' Cup.
3 walkout races. 2 Breeders' Cup races.
I cannot tell you what it's like to have gotten out of Santa Anita at 6 o'clock in the dark when 60,000 people all want to leave at the same time. So this is now in a perfect world, when the old days were set, the classic and I'm talking 86, 87, the classic went off at 2:30 in the afternoon. So I was at Hollywood Park in San Diego. They had like 5 races. So it was plenty of time to get out. So for the television people, it's going to work out. And I do believe it from a structural standpoint, I think it's a good idea. But from a sporting standpoint, how do you run the big race and then run more? But
and for folks who didn't see the story, NBC's tied in with, what was it, $1 billion contract to have the Big Ten
and
football.
USC will be getting their hand into that as a member of the Big Ten next year. On to the 5th. The restricted language split divisions, is it, Seth, or the other one is Phillies? 2-year-olds, maiden special weights, 5.5.
5'9", 3-7. Cowboy Luke on top. It's the first fall from the dam, but I really like Gervin as an interesting win early sire. Rob Atras can have him ready. So I just tilted there. Again, nothing particularly jumping out at me. Second spot, Rockstar Boy. For Rudy Rodriguez, nice little second place finish, and experience counts. And so off of that effort, a player. And then Crazy Mason, also a second place finish. And again, experience counts. And again, I said yesterday, I had Gary Contessa in. He liked Uncle Eddie in this race and thought there would be some improvement off the first start of the career. I didn't use Uncle Eddie, but I
favorite type of running line.
Toss that out.
Off of a debut, my favorite. It's actually run even worse. Finished 4th, beating 11's even better. I love when they show the good speed. The thing that scared me off on your Rockstar is Rudy 5% with maiden second time starters. So from a large field size, I'm on top. I'm the same thing. 5'8", 3. We've already had Gervin beat I think an odds-on horse, but beat the favorite the other day. Rob Atras would maybe, Seth, be the best example of the bar graph because 21% for the year sounds great. Not so sure this time of year is looking as great. The bar graph would but this is the horse. Couple workouts, and the most recent ones seem to be we're ready to go. And I've said this before. I like the idea. Remember, before they start, the daily racing form will show up to 12 workouts. But I like when it's the trainer feels as if the horse has already figured it out in like 4 or 5. Let's go. So I'll take Cowboy Luke here. For second, I have 3 White Soldiers. Bill Morey, hopefully keep the momentum going. And for third, I have Crazy Mason adding blinkers after a nice debut at Monmouth. 5-8-3.
6 races this afternoon. They're sprinting on the grass. These are maiden special 2-year-old fillies.
8-9-4. The 11 is an AE. The 12 is an MTO. I am with Seth's dark horse play of the day for Steve Asmus. I mean, the thing for me about Omaha Beach also, Seth, is he's a son of Warfront. I mean, and that's just what I am expecting. I'm expecting them to be early winners. Turp is fine for me. And, I'll sign up for 5-1 right now. For a second, gem of a performance right next door in the starting gate. A first-time starter for a Graham Motion. Johnny V on a 10-1 shot. And, yes, people might be thinking, maybe a distance of ground, so maybe this is a practice race. But I have exchange rate on the bottom side. And for third, number 4, taking a shot with the pronunciation here. Lamorna, first-time starter from Munnings, which I love. 8-9-4.
For me, I have it 8, 6, 10, and 4. I mentioned when I talked about play of the day, the breeding, the 10.1 work. So I thought those breeding Asmussen, 5-1. We like that. Dancing Nancy, the 6 for Chad Brown by Golden Sense. If you watch enough, Golden Sense is another on that list of win early type sires I like to jump on also. And then in the third slot, Ever So Sweet. This is a sire, and I looked up some info on that one over in Europe that is a little bit intriguing as well. It's Brad Cox who does well first out of the box. And again, with some European breeding that I find a little bit intriguing. So Ever So Sweet also playable in here for me. In the 6th, I have it 8, 6, 10, and 4.
Now, one thing I'll say about Golden Sense, I don't think any 2-time Breeders' Cup winner has ever been poo-pooed as much as Golden Sense. Now, his was the dirt mile in its early stages. A lot of people thought it hadn't reached the heights. and he turned out to be a better stallion. But I think he's in that part now where I'm because I do the, what letter is it? I think it's usually about V. It is V. V is always the stallion. He's not showing up anymore, like except for the Uncle Mo types of the world that continue to get the better mares. Other ones that have like a 5-year window or such, and I'm starting to worry that a Triple Crown winner might be getting into that group where, I don't know, but Golden Sense was outstanding. I can remember how many times I said he turned out to be a better stallion than runner, and he won 2 Breeders' Cup races. So we'll see. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the late pick 4.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. But here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Falbrough. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish to the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Race number 7, a mile. This time on the inner turf course. State Bred's in for 45, 2X, and the rail placings have remained the same in week 2. 9 on the inner, 12 on the melon.
The 1 entry, 4, 3, and 2 for me. This is one where
both of them.
Yeah, the last couple of days I've either parsed it out or I've said that this one's preferred. Then that one day I scratched out the preferred.
Yes.
For me, in the top spot, it's tough. If they're underneath, I'll combine them and not worry about it.
Well, listen, I'm telling you that the Cadula and Antonio Venice, I want to know. I told you.
Yeah.
Head to head.
Yeah.
Don't be behind me at the windows if they had head to head in that race.
But I'll use both of them here. 1A, the 1 entry, 4, 3, and 2. And I think they're both live in here. Spirit of St. Louis and Call Me Harry. 1 for Chad Brown. The Chad Brown runner, lightly raced, but has run well and maybe even has some upside. And on best effort, Call Me Harry is playable as well. Con Man in the 2nd spot for Mark Cassie. Can't knock the current form. A couple of nice seconds leading into a win last time. Seems live on that scenario. And Agent Creed also coming in good form. And the buyer fired last time was a lifetime best and may bode well for that one being competitive with this bunch this afternoon. 1 entry, 4, 3, and 2.
I'm Spirit of St. Louis in here. 2nd start since April. Off the pace runner in the turf debut. I saw this. It's an even money entry. I was just looking for a one punch exact here with a long shot. And Ghost Giant, who ran a winning race at a mile last summer in August. So it's 176 for me. Although Citizen K is going to be a tough second choice. Clearly the second choice in here against the entry. And sometimes it's just a tough road. I usually don't want the second one. I usually want somebody longer than that, but we'll see.
8th race this afternoon. It's a starter allowance. They will travel 7 furlongs.
And we love them. I was actually surprised to see even money on the entry with the 2 in there. 4-1-6 for me. And as I've mentioned, there's been 2 levels of starter allowances. And Sue Ellen, Michigan, gets my top pick at a big price in here. Good early speed and then falters. Well, let's see if we can get a comfortable pace in here and really upset their apple cart. I think we'll do much better than 10-1 in here. For a second from the rail, 8-5 on the board. Exits 2 races back, no chance in the vagrancy, and tried a 3X race now gets the right level and is going to be heck to pay from the rail. And then Invaluable, the 6 from Mike Maker, 4-1-6 in a race that probably I had as little feel as any.
I have it 1, 2, 8, and 3. I'm going to put Mosienko on top. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of confidence either, but on a best effort, this one belongs. And what we saw 3 back, I think, would be good enough. Know It All Audrey, I think, is 3 back. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, 3 back. Know It All Audrey comes in with some early speed, and that may be enough in this field because, as you say, it's kind of an open field. 4 exacta finishes and 6 starts. She's interesting, and she caught my eye. It's Linda Rice coming in off a win and probably against a little bit better in there. So for me, 1, 2, 8, and 3. And I'll ask your top pick. You said the other day you're not pop culture and you don't watch Seinfeld, so Sue Ellen, Michigan means nothing.
No.
Nope,
Did I pronounce it right?
Yeah. Sue Ellen, Michigan. She's was wearing the bra as the fashion statement, and everybody was in an uproar over it. So it's an Al Gold horse. So of course there's the clever. Okay. He's the clever pop culture.
So that was a character.
It was a side character. Yeah.
Okay.
There may have been a little more than one, but yeah.
Okay.
She was walking down the street, and all she was wearing was a bra, and everybody was in an uproar.
All right. No, I'm not good at it. Take a quick break. When we come back, the late Daily Double on a beautiful Thursday morning.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Birdstone is an outside. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. But here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Falbrough. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish to the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, up to race number 9. We have open company 3-year-olds and up in for 62. 2X on the melon, mile and a 16.
7, 5, 10, and 1. I'm going to put exact estimate on top. The Chad Brown trainee switched to the turf this season and has run very well with a couple of wins, bookending a close-up second-place finish. So seems kind of logical with Irad Ortiz on board. James Aloysius in the second spot, though, has tossed a couple of buyers in the past 2 starts, including a stake at Monmouth, that have an edge on the top pick. So these two are intriguing to me. I'm going to be interested to see how this race plays out, because then the next 2 horses I have, I think on best efforts, also belong in the conversation. Chasing the Crown comes in off a win 2 starts back, and then a close-up second under the wire last time, was disqualified and placed 3rd, but has run well, and both of those were solid numbers that match with these. And Ari Gold, lightly raced, but moving forward over the past couple of starts for Todd Pletcher. Those past couple of starts, though, were going back to the end of last year. So how will this horse come back? The fitness is the question mark, but this is the kind lightly raced could come back improved. I have it 7, 5, 10, and 1.
I'm 5, 7, 1. One thing I point out, this is a case, I think, where you see connections. As you point out, James Aloysius actually has better buyer speed figures on turf than the 1 and the 7. And he is a longer price. He is, I think, a noticeably longer price than exact estimate. 7-2 and 5-1. I'm like that. And I like James Aloysius. I mean, it's rare probably that I think I'm going to get 5 or 6-1 on the horse that has the outstanding buyer speed figures in here and has replicated them and exits the cliffhanger. I get Joel Rosario. I have exact estimate right underneath. And here's the case, too. Now, there's not nearly the disparity in the price that I had a couple of examples yesterday. Now, with the connections, there might be greater disparity when they bet, but that might be counteracted by what you say is the buyer speed figures. People will be less disinclined for Danny Gargan with back-to-back 90s that stand up to Todd Pletcher and Chad Brown. To me, this is a very interesting betting race based on the public psychology, because the numbers indicate Ari Gold, James Aloysius, and exact estimate should all be 3-1. And there might be a chance that James Aloysius is 6 or 7-1, but we'll see. I mean, listen, the people nailed Randy Prasad yesterday.
Yeah.
They let that go. So maybe I'm, pipe dreaming here, but 5-7-1 in a race to me that is dominated by my 3 picks. And I'm hoping to see a considerable split in the price.
I mean, it's a big field. The odds will be interesting to see how it does play out.
It's a great betting race. The 13's an AE and the 14's MTO, and so that means it's a field of 12.
10th race this afternoon, scheduled to go off at about 6:15. It's another New York Stallion Series event, a mile on the grass. Certainly rooting for Vacation Dance, which is partly owned by our friends at America's Pastime Racing, but there's some familiar names in here all around. Your thoughts in the 10th?
I took a flyer here, but boy, I 178 for me, and Ray Handel sends out Gem Mint 10. Coming out of the Stallion Series at 7/8 down at Belmont Park. So now we get 2 turns. We're down inside. I think we're gonna sit a good trip. Whether we get the chance to get out, which if you can't get out, you actually want to, you want to hug the temporary rail and you hope to get out. But I think if you watch through the years, it's harder to get through on the inside with the temporary rails out than the hedge. Now, that's just anecdotally for me. The geometry tells me that should kind of be true because the G-force coming off the turn with no rails pushes you farther out because it's sharper. The temporary rail subdues the sharpness of the turn. But I'm just hoping that I set a good trip. I actually would prefer to get the inside run. It's just hard, but I get Dylan Davis. I'm going to take a shot here. I think I'm also going to receive better than 6-1 in here. Ramblin' Wreck for Danny Gargan coming off of the Belmont 7-furlong win in the Stallion Series, which was the seasonal debut. It's had just over a month to come back from a career best, so we'll see how he does at 7-5, and then 26 Black in here coming off of the runner-up position, has been favored in the last 3 races. Jackson Heights is an MTO, so 1-7-8.
I have it 8, 7, 2, and 1. I have the top 5 coming out of that New York Stallion Series, the middle of June, are back in here, and I just flipped up the top 2 with 26 Black being a little more lightly raced, maybe some upside, but Ramblin' Wreck. We'll see what our first guest, Dean Reeves, has to say about his runner in there, and Ramblin' Wreck coming off the win last time certainly is going to be the one to beat, and it's all coming together. Was third behind those 2 in that last event, so they're all logical to me on the comeback. 8, 7, 2, and 1.
Well, what's interesting for me is how the Belmont form, not Aqueduct form, but the Belmont form, the 1-turn 7/8, the Stallion Series race plays into this one. Because I think it's one of those very good test cases where there's a difference.
Yeah.
And I'm intrigued to see how the form of the 7-furlong Stallion Series race plays today, because we have enough of them in there that we might feel comfortable drawing a conclusion.
It's always interesting to see how, I mentioned it earlier this season, Belmont races as compared to Aqueduct races, and how that form translates up here, because the Aqueduct configuration is so much closer to Saratoga.
Yes, and I'm a big believer in 1-turn, 2-turn. I know some people aren't, but I am. And I think, one of the things you talk about also is you get, generally speaking, more rewarded for coming horses off losses and stuff than wins, even though they have to jump up in company. But I'm a big believer. I think this is a different race. I think this race today is dramatically different than the other one.
Yeah.
Now watch the Stallion Series from Belmont come 1, 2, 3. But I'm taking and also ran So who do you have on Race Across America besides Mr. Reeves?
Dean Reeves
so
out
early
in the green room, and he had the nice maiden winner yesterday, Ramblin' Wreck today, and we'll hit on some of his other nice horses also. Mike Welch from the Daily Racing Forum will come in. We'll preview some of the stakes action that's coming up and get some thoughts on what's happened so far at the meet. And then our friend Teresa Gennaro will jump on board. She's doing some writing for the Daily Gazette as well as Horse Racing Nation and some other publications also. We'll talk about what she has written recently and upcoming.
Ask her if she's buying or selling on the New York Rangers. She's a stupendous New York Rangers fan, like gigantic as I am. Yes. And I don't think they started last year. I think she's had season tickets for a long time. I think she told me once her and her dad would go. I think that's right. We were talking one time inside because she tweets out, it's right there. But she's like, no, Andy. I'm like, I said, I get it. I get it. So beautiful morning today, kicking off the second day of week 2, the second Thursday. It's stunningly good right now. As I've said, let's run them now.
Yeah, no, this is a gorgeous day.
Perfect weather. So he stays, I go. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great Thursday afternoon.
You've been watching the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.